1975, you first joined the Reds as an apprentice, having previously played for Worsbridge. How did it all come about?
Well, it wasn't straightforward, that's for sure. I was playing for Barnsley Boys Club for Keith Steele, who was Johnny Steele's son. He was pushing for me to get an apprenticeship. I think Barnsley were pushing for me not to have an apprenticeship. I think Keith and his dad eventually sorted it. They told me to go down to the club and knock on the door, and we can imagine that happening now somewhere. And I did, and I got invited in. And there was a few blank looks, and then there was a few. It'd have been a lot easier these days, wouldn't it? Email straight away or mobile phones. And there was a big silence, but anyway, I got my apprenticeship, which was bizarre. What was it, Dave? 6 and 3, was it? £6 for me and £3 for my mother or something, I think it was. It wasn't a lot of money anyway.
And what was the everyday life like for an apprentice in those days?
It was brilliant. I loved it, my apprenticeship. I sometimes wonder when the kids are whinging about it. We did all the jobs. We swept the terraces. Monday morning was either swept the terraces, divoted the pitch or cleaned the boots. I preferred divoting the pitch because it was outside and it was a Rimo, and that was just great fun. That was great banter on the pitch. Cleaning all the toilets, and we'd be listening to the first teamers training on the training ground, so that was kind of hard. But we stayed behind playing head tennis in the gym. I was playing football and getting paid for doing it, although it was only 6 and 3. It was still worth doing, and they were great lads. We had a great time. I loved my 2 years as an apprentice. It was brilliant.
And then when those 2 years were up, they signed you on as a pro. You made your debut. I remember the game well. It was a League Cup tie against Chesterfield, and you scored. You remember that one?
I do remember it, yes, vividly, because it was the time when you used to play the League Cup game before anything else, and we'd played at Chesterfield. I think we lost 4-0. No, it was 4-1. We lost 4-1, and Peter Berkey was playing. And I never thought I was anywhere near the first, although I travelled with him. And then we got such a slapping on the day. I don't know whether Jim Eiley thought, well, here goes nothing, I'll put him in. And of course we won 3-0, and I scored on my debut. So that was pretty much it for that season. I'm not sure if I missed a game that season then after that.
You didn't that season, or the season after, I think.
Yeah.
So, and then of course you became part of the great team that went from 4th to 3rd, 3rd to 2nd. Yes,
it was a great time. It was a successful time as well, and I mean, from starting off with Jim Eiley, and then Jim going off to Blackburn, and there was a bit of the story I was going to go to Blackburn at one stage, and then Youngie took over the coach for a short while, and it was when Alan Clarke came that changed all that around. He just made us a more professional outfit. I think he couldn't believe what was going on, how we were washing our own kit, and you know, it was the norm for us. It was accepted for us. But when he came in, he gave us a huge sense of pride in the club. I think with a club. I've seen a picture recently, by the way. I'm not so sure if we look too clever in our cream trousers and red shirt and blue blazers, but he did. He smartened us all up. I think he gave us a more professional outlook, and we were a good team. We had some really good teams.
And of course you had the great League Cup run as well, 81-82. You scored against Brighton, I think, in that game.
Yes, I did. Beating them 4, didn't we? Yeah, I scored with what was a pretty good header. And I remember reading in the paper afterwards that Trevor Aylott scored with a magnificent header. I was really annoyed about that. I didn't score that many goals that they could give the credit for it to somebody else. Yeah, Manchester City went to Liverpool, of course, and that was funny actually, because we travelled in dense fog. Didn't think the game was going to go ahead. And we were drawing 0-0 with about 85 minutes gone, and all the fans coming up the terraces still, you know, with 5 minutes to play. What's the score? 0-0. Oh, blow your whistle, ref! He's only been in for 5 minutes. Well, a terrible evening in terms of the weather. It was a great evening in terms of the game and the result.
So, coming back to your early days, who was your mentor? Who was your main man? I think I know who you're going to say, but...
There's no doubt it was Rimo. From my first games when I played on the Queen's ground, when I was 16, I came over sort of on a trial a little bit. I just instantly had a great rapport with him, and as being I think he made me the head apprentice because he knew I'd crack a few heads if he didn't have to. Mine was a one head he'd crack if I didn't get the jobs done. So, but I had a great rapport with him. You know, even just getting the nets down after games with him, just helping him, listening to him. He was full of great stories. I mean, anybody who's ever come across him would know that. There's nobody had a bad word for him. He was so bright, so thoughtful about the game, and even after I've left and I've become a manager and a coach, I'd go back and watch games at Oakwell and sit down in the front of the director's box. I'd never sit in the director's box. I always sat and spoke to Rimo, and he always had a great eye for a player. Yeah, he was my mentor.
Obviously, it's your hometown club. Must be a great honour to have played for him. What was it like playing at Oakwell?
It was wonderful. I mean, listen, there was when I first got in the team, there was 2,000 fans there. I got in the team in the 4th division, and it was wonderful getting the first team. I mean, my debut playing against Chesterfield and then Rochdale on the Saturday was just brilliant. You know, that's where I wanted to be. But I can't say all the time it was huge crowds. You talk about when we got promoted, that was wonderful. The cup runs were brilliant. And the amount of people I'd be outside and they'd be saying, "Mate, can you get us a couple of tickets?" I've been coming since there were 2,000 people there. Well, if all those people came, they wouldn't get them in the ground. So great stories, great memories, but just playing in the first team was great.
Yeah. And you had a great partnership, of course, with Ian Evans. What do you think made that such a good partnership?
Well, I've had a long relationship with him now in terms of when I got in the team with him. And he's another one, you know, people that you gravitate to straight away and you instantly like. And funnily enough, he came, the first game he came to, the Barnsley game, we were playing Reading away and we were beaten 7-0.
Yeah.
And he told me afterwards, he's driving home thinking, what am I doing? It's coming to... But then on the other side of it, he thought, if I can't improve that, 7-0 being a centre-back, there's going to be trouble. What made it a good partnership was he's about, what is he, 7, 8 years older than me, Taff. I think he's 7 years older than me. But I was 20 when he came, so he's a 27-year-old, 26, 27-year-old experienced pro, you know, played for Wales. And afterwards, when I used to talk to him about it, he said it was great playing with you. He said he could go and he had me on a short leash, you know, and he said, go on, mate, go and head that, go on, mate, go and tackle him. He'd just keep me on that. So, and he was that calming influence with me.
Going on from that 7-0 drubbing, went down pit then, didn't you? Clark, got you down pit after 7-0 drubbing. How did that feel, mate?
Well, typically, you know, we get down there with all the lads and the miners, and they're all just taking the mick, aren't they? You know, it's well, come down and see what a right job's like, lads, and all that. You know, and of course, as we're walking down, and by the way, you know, of all riding on the belts, we shouldn't be doing this, lads, but we'll be all right on us. I can't with them banging his heads on the as we kept going down. But it was a real eye opener. I mean, did I ever want to go back down there? No. Did any of the other lads ever want to go back down there? Now, on the back of it, whether we had any success from that, I've no idea. But, oh yeah, an eye-opener that. Being that far down and working in those conditions, they were real blokes.
What's your greatest memory from your time playing for the football club, mate?
Well, my debut, I said it, that stands out, but I can't say that's the greatest, because every time you achieve something, it eclipses the one before, I think. So I think the promotions were wonderful, and standing in the director's box there and everybody's on the pitch, they were just great memories. And playing in some really good teams as well, with some really good players, that, you know, Barnsley got a fair bit of recognition then. It was, you know, recognised as the town, the club. We were all benefiting from having that good team. And actually, you know, playing with for Clarkie's team, but Norman Hunter's team, I love that one the best. That was probably the best.
Who do you most enjoy playing alongside during your time at the football club, Mick?
Oh, Taff, without that, Ian Evans, yeah. John Saunders, because he used to say, "Oh, Summit." So we call him Big Summit. I mean it's stupid, I know, that's football. And John used to sit in the drying room with a cigarette till about 2:30 and a cup of tea. And we'd all be scurrying around getting ready, and he was as calm as anything. And I loved him. I loved Big John Saunders. He was great. But and when Norman Hunter came, I mean, he was one of my heroes. I was turning up and playing with him. But Taff, without a doubt, I loved playing with Taff. Video technology, they started using that, and it was after. It was always, football's always the same. It's like you're all great if you've won, and you're all idiots if you've lost. And so it was one of those days we'd lost, and we went into the boardroom, and they were waiting. Alan Clark's going to come in, and he's fuming. He's going to come and show us all where we've gone wrong. Martin Wilkinson, who was his assistant, was setting the video machine up, and he put his cup of tea on top of the video machine. As we were waiting, he accidentally knocked it off and it fell into it. So, whole cup of tea, and he was trying to dry the tape out. That didn't work. We were all going, oh dear, how sad, never mind.
What are your memories of your last game for Barnsley Football Club against Chelsea?
I didn't know that was my last game. That last bit, I'd been left out of the team. I got suspended, and Nicky Law came in and Larry May came in, and they did well. They had some good results and didn't put me back in the team. So I was pretty miffed about that. Bearing in mind, I don't know, I've been the player of the year 3 times. I've been in the championship, the divisional awards team. I'd had a pretty good time. But it just shows you now, that's management. I understand it now. You know, if you've got a good partnership, they've come in and done well. But that just signalled the end for me.
How would you describe your relationship with the fans at Barnsley?
Very good. You'd have to tell me that, but I mean, I think, yeah. I mean, as a player, I gave. I mean, my dad always said to me, "Look, Dad, Mick, if you work hard and you give everything, nobody can dislike you for that. They might not think you can play, but they can't dislike you for that." And I always took that in with me, and I don't think anybody would ever say I didn't give everything when I was on the pitch for Barnsley, or anybody else for that matter. Even when I'd been left out of the team, I always remember going up to Middlesbrough and playing, and Norman said to me, "Oh, I had good reports about you playing, you didn't sulk, you didn't..." I was amazed that anybody would have thought I would, because it was a game of football and I wanted to win.
You're still up there as one of the greatest players to put on a red shirt, Mick. How does that make you feel?
Thank you. It's quite humble. Yeah, there's been some very good players. There's been some great players, and there were some very good and great players before me, and there's been some afterwards. It's 40 years since I made my debut, though. I just wonder how many. I'm glad you two lads are here, actually, because you can still remember, yeah. The club has got a great history, and of course, you asked me about how's it changed. It's evolved, and I look at it now, and I look at the stand where we get changed, the stand opposite, and the Pontefract Road stand. Of course, the Grove Street stand is still there.
When Rimo used to put eating on.
Oh yeah, which it always evokes memories for me. That, you know, I mean, unbelievable memories of the dressing room, playing in there, the banter I had as an apprentice. John Saunders sat there with his fag and his cup of tea till 2:30. Just sat down there with as an apprentice. Nellie and Nancy used to clean the kit. Rimo, Wilf, Tom. Down there, listening to all the stories, having a cup of tea, always making a brew. That stand, every time I walk in, it evokes all those memories. I'm a Barnsley lad, and it's great. I think it's lovely that you can get in your own town's team, and you play in that team, and you become a good player in that team, and fans like it. It's brilliant.